Impact Wrestling presents Sacrifice live Friday, March 24th on Impact Plus and Fight.
Well, Johnny Swinger once again maybe gets more than he bargained for on his road to 50.
Meanwhile, this man's on the road to rebellion.
The following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first, from Rutherford, New Jersey, Steve Maclin.
On Sunday, April 16th, we make our return to Toronto for the first time since 2019. We'll be live on pay-per-view and Fight TV at Rebellion. This man, Steve Maclin, is the #1 contender to the Impact World Championship. We'll see if it's indeed Josh Alexander who represents the championship that night. Alexander's got to deal with Kushida in a title defense first. 2 weeks from tonight, Multiverse United.
That's true, but regardless, this man finally, after months of impressive performances, is getting what's his.
Oh, baby! His opponent from Fort Mill, South Carolina, Heath.
It was 3 weeks ago at the No Surrender event. Heath, Brian Myers, PCO, and Maclin battled in a four-way match to determine the #1 contender to the Impact World title come Rebellion. Heath has sounded off on social media and digital media platforms saying he thought he had that match won once or twice and claimed that, quote, Maclin was as good at being in the right place at the right time.
Where's the lie? Look, we were there. You all saw it at No Surrender. Heath, there were a couple of very key moments. He was seconds away from claiming that #1 contendership. But Maclin, all he did was someone who saw a vulnerable target and struck. Them's the breaks. That's the way it goes in this business. Heath knows that as well as anybody.
That's how things work in those multi-man matches. But now Maclin has what he wants come Rebellion, an Impact World title shot. You know he wants the Impact World Champion by the time we get to Toronto to be Josh Alexander, because Steve Maclin has spent a year roughly biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity. And there have been a lot of chances for him to go right out, go right to Josh Alexander, a challenge for the Impact World title. But Maclin has waited for this.
He's wanted it on his terms. He's waited for the right moment. You don't just run willy-nilly into a firestorm.
Oh, Heath able to take Maclin off his feet.
Right now Maclin's in the middle of a bit of a firestorm from the Red-Headed Rebel.
Oh! Forearm smash there by Heath. Sacrifices, of course, 1 week away from tomorrow, live on Impact Plus, Fight TV, and YouTube for Ultimate Insiders. Last year at that event, it was Heath challenging Moose for the Impact World title, so familiar territory for Heath when it comes to that championship, but it's Maclin who's got the title shot at Rebellion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, Heath, he's been to that dance before. He's tasted that fruit, and he wants to get back there. But this, I truly believe. I believe it has been for a long time, but I do believe that this is Maclin's time.
Oh! He turns it around with a blistering chop there in the corner. Oh! Hey, listen, I've seen multiple instances where Maclin has had big matches that he could have won to earn a title shot. Other instances where, hell, how many times did Josh Alexander issue an open challenge and Maclin didn't answer for the Impact World title?
What did I just tell you? And what happened to all those guys who answered, who just went willy-nilly into those open challenges out of nowhere, just ran out and grabbed it? They lost. Bobby Fish was unsuccessful. Speedball Mike Bailey, as impressive as that matchup was, ultimately unsuccessful. Steve Maclin does not want to fall into those same holes.
Now Maclin, great combination there moments ago. Out to the floor, launched by Heath.
Long way down for Maclin.
Heath versus Maclin continues. Oh, we are back here on Impact Wrestling on Access TV. Steve Maclin has turned things around against Heath here in Las Vegas. Oh, and a knee right to the small of the back. Heath sent to the outside.
Hard fall for Heath there. And it was before the break that Heath sent Maclin crashing to the floor, so turnabout in this one is fair play for the #1 contender come Rebellion.
And I've been just informed after a situation we saw earlier on this evening, later on.
Who's your #1 contender right here?
Later on here in Las Vegas, Johnny Swinger will go one-on-one with Jay Vidal. Can Swinger get his first win on the road to 50? We'll find out.
Somebody tell Swinger. I think Jay actually knows a thing or two about pro wrestling, brother.
Maclin rolls back inside, resets the 10 count, continues the assault on Heath.
Maclin trying to prove to Heath, show him exactly why he won that fatal four-way #1 contender match, and no surrender.
Cover. Heath able to kick out. Maclin, the #1 contender to the Impact World Championship come Rebellion, Sunday, April 16th, live on pay-per-view and Fight TV in Toronto.
Red-headed Rebel turning into the red-faced Rebel as the life getting choked out of him by Maclin.
And the question is, who's going to be the Impact World Champion by the time we get to Rebellion? We talked about it before the break. Josh Alexander will defend his championship against Kushida in a first-time ever matchup 2 weeks from tonight at Multiverse United. Only the strong survive in the throat of Heath into the bottom rope. So much for Alexander between Sacrifice and Multiverse United. Here's a cover kick out.
He's got that huge 6-man tag team match at Sacrifice as well. You just talked about the title match. The plate of Josh Alexander is very full.
So you've talked about Maclin picking the right spot, picking the right moments, and winning the title shot at No Surrender. So it does beg the question, is the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander spreading himself too thin?
I mean, I'm not going to be the one to say it, because as we've seen from Josh Alexander, the man can handle almost anything.
Oh, backbreaker. Heath gets the shoulder up.
I mean, I have never seen a more tenacious professional wrestler in, I think, my entire career than the Walking Weapon. I mean, Steve Maclin may be a close one to that one. You talk about tenaciousness, you talk about aggressiveness, you talk about putting in the work. Whether you like his tactics or not, Maclin fits that bill.
Piss off!
Frankly, getting to know Josh Alexander over the past year plus, now he's been Impact World Champion for 327 days. Alexander is very good about compartmentalizing. Before he can even think about dealing with Maclin at Rebellion, he's got to get past the lethal Kushida, who's been on a tear as of late with a hoverboard lock at Multiverse United. It's first things first for Alexander, one step at a time.
I mean, I certainly hope he does. That's literally, truly what you have to do. And let's not forget the kind of poetic nature of everything that come Rebellion, should it be Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin? Remember last year, that was the event where Josh Alexander finally reclaimed the Impact World title and went on this incredible streak.
Alexander's got to worry about Kushida first before he can even think about competing in his hometown of Toronto at Rebellion. Alexander will be in action later on tonight with his tag team partners for Sacrifice, Frankie Kazarian and Rich Swann against Bullet Club. But right now, Heath able to get out of the clutches of Maclin. Maclin trying to track down Heath.
Keep bobbing and weaving here.
Oh!
Never count out the red-headed Rebel.
Big shots here by Heath. Former Golden Gloves champion. Knee right to the face. Oh! Leg lariat there by Heath.
Looking to prove that it should have been him. He could have gotten it done.
Off the power slam and a kick out by Maclin.
You know Heath wants to climb back to that #1 contendership, back to an opportunity at the Impact World title. Whoa!
He's trying up and set him up maybe for an Olympic slam. Spinebuster there by Heath. Is this enough? And a kick out. And imagine how this could shake the confidence of Maclin if Heath were to beat him here tonight.
Especially how calculated Maclin's been this whole time, like I've been saying. Yeah, to suffer a loss like this on the road to Rebellion would be a game changer.
And now Heath rushes into the corner, caught by Maclin.
Maclin placing him up top here, putting him exactly where he wants him. Now down in the tree. Whoa, stomping a mud hole through him.
And it looks like Heath is caught up there in the top turnbuckle. And Heath is caught in the crosshairs by Maclin.
And the focus, the intensity of Maclin.
Come on, Heath.
I mean, it's always been there, Tom, but it is at a whole nother level now that he has his opportunity at Rebellion.
Zeroed in on Heath, kick to the gut. KIA! Maclin gets the KIA and gets the win.
Here's your winner, Steve Maclin.
If that happens at Rebellion in Toronto, we could see Steve Maclin as your new Impact World Champion.
And let's take one more look at here at the finish of this matchup. Steve Maclin with the KIA on Heath. And like you said, Tom, that could be things come Rebellion, and that could lead to a new Impact World Champion.